Good morning everyone. Basa na tayo ng Bible guys. 2 Kings chapter 24 and 25 and John chapter 5 verse 1 to 24. Dito muna tayo sa John guys. Basa. Jesus heals a layman by a pool. Sometime later, Jesus went up to Jerusalem for a feast of the Jews. Now there is in Jerusalem near the sheep gate a pool, which in Aramaic is called Bethesda, and which is surrounded by 5 covered colonnades. Here a great number of disabled people used to lie, a blind, the lame, the paralyzed, and one who was there had been an invalid for 38 years. Ang tagal? 38 years na siyang When Jesus saw him lying there and learned that he had been in this condition for a long time, he asked him, "Do you want to get well?" "Sir," the invalid replied, "I have no one to help me into the pool. When the water is stirred while I am trying to get in, someone else goes down ahead of me." Then Jesus said to him, "Get up, pick up your mat and walk." At once the man was cured. He picked up his mat and walked. So hindi na niya kailangan pumunta sa pool. Gumaling na siya. The day on which this took place was a Sabbath, and so the Jews said to the man who had been healed, "It is the Sabbath. The law forbids you to carry your mat." Pambira, no? Bitbitin mo lang yung mat mo. Hindi na po pwede kasi Sabbath. Ganon siya kahigpit. But he replied, "The man who made me well said to me, 'Pick up your mat and walk.'" So they asked him, "Who is this fellow who told you to pick it up and walk?" The man who was healed had no idea who it was, for Jesus had slipped away into the crowd that was there. Later Jesus found him at the temple and said to him, "See, you are well again. Stop sinning, or something worse may happen to you." So wag na daw magkasala para hindi na magkaroon ng masamang mangyari. The man went away and told the Jews that it was Jesus who had made him well. Jesus claims to be the Son of God. Tumalog yung chan ko. So, sa verse 16, So because Jesus was doing these things on the Sabbath, the Jews persecuted him. Jesus said to them, "My Father is always at his work to this very day, and I too am working." For this reason, the Jews tried all the harder to kill him. Not only was he breaking the Sabbath, but he was even calling God his own Father, making himself equal with God. Doon siya talaga pinaparusahan ng mga Jews. Kasi kiniklaim ni Jesus na siya, Son of God. So, naalala niyo guys, yung merong taong nangangahoy lang, nangunguha ng kahoy on that Sabbath day, di ba pinatay din nila? So, talagang sa kanila, mahigpit sila sa Sabbath day. Bawal talaga magtrabaho. Si Jesus, nagpapagaling siya nung Sabbath day. Kaya sila galit na galit din yung mga Jews. Dito tayo sa verse 19. Jesus gave them this answer, "I tell you the truth, the Son can do nothing by himself. He can do only what he sees his Father doing, because Whatever the Father does, the Son also does. For the Father loves the Son and shows him all he does. Yes, to your amazement, he will show him even greater things than this. Alam niyo guys, kung panahon natin ngayon, yung itong ganito kahigpit na sa Sabbath day, wala ka talagang gagawin. Tapos kung may gagawin ka is papatayin ka. Ang dami sa atin mapapatay. Kasi aminin natin, pagka Sabbath day, marami pa rin sa atin yung nag-work. Diba? Isa kanila napakahigpit talaga. Yes, to your amazement, he will show him even greater things than this. For just as the Father raises the dead and gives them life, even so the Son gives life to whom he is pleased to give. Kung sino yung gusto niyang bigyan ng buhay, mabubuhay. Moreover, the Father judges no one, but has entrusted all judgment to the Son, that all may honor the Son just as they honor the Father. He who does not honor the Son does not honor the Father who sent him. I tell you the truth, whoever hears my word and believes him who sent me has eternal life and will not be condemned. He has crossed over from death to life. Okay, hanggang dito na lang siya. 24. Lipat na tayo sa Kings verse 24 and 20. Verse 24. Chapter 24. Tama ba? Chapter 24 and 25. Sorry. Basa. Judah is exiled to Babylon. Jehoiakim. Ito si Jehoiakim, ang pangalan nito is Eliakim yung kahapon binasa natin. Ang una niyang pangalan is Eliakim. Tapos pinalitan ng Jehoiakim. Matanda na. Binasa natin to kahapon guys, diba? Okay, basa. Judah is exiled to Babylon, Jehoiakim, king of Judah. I know. So it means hindi natin ito nabasa kahapon. Hanggang ano lang tayo kahapon? Hanggang verse 35. So yung 36, 37, ngayon natin basahin. Ganun lang talaga. Okay, sorry. Karugtong to kahapon guys Pasensya na. Judah is exiled to Babylon, Jehoiakim, king of Judah. So, nasa 23 pa ito sakop Verse 36 ng 2 Kings 23 to. Jehoiakim was 25 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 11 years. His mother's name was Zebidah, daughter of Pedaiah. She was from Ramah, and he did evil in the eyes of the Lord, just as his father had done. So, ito na dito na tayo mag-umpisa sa 24 verse 1. During Jehoiakim's reign, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, invaded the land, and Jehoiakim became his vassal for 3 years. But then he changed his mind and rebelled against Nebuchadnezzar. The Lord sent Babylonian, Aramean, Moabite, and Ammonite raiders against him. He sent them to destroy Judah in accordance with the word of the Lord proclaimed by his servants the prophets. Surely these things happened to Judah according to... Pasensya na guys na tayo kahapon. So nag-umpisa yung Old Testament natin doon na sa 36. 24. Ulit sa verse 3. Surely these things happened to Judah according to the Lord's command in order to remove them from his presence. because of the sins of Manasseh and all he had done, including the shedding of innocent blood. Akala ko nga dati itong Manasseh ito, so anak pala siya ni, kanino bang anak si Manasseh dito? So may kapareho siyang pangalan sa anak ni Joseph. Pero ito anak ito ni kanino bang anak si Manasseh guys dito? Anak siya ni Hezekiah, yung paborito kong king na magaling magdasal. Manasseh. Son of King Hezekiah. Para madaling matandaan guys. Basta yan ang favorite ko kung paano siya magdasal. Yung king na yan, lang siya, face the wall lang siya. Tapos, yun, magdasal na ng painting. So, gayahin natin yun. Ito na. His presence because the sins of Manasseh and all he had done. Sa verse 4 na tayo. Including the shedding of innocent blood, for he had filled Jerusalem with innocent blood, and the Lord was not willing to forgive. As for the other events of Jehoiakim, reign, and all he did, are they not written in the book of the annals of the kings of Judah? Jehoiakim rested with his fathers, and Jehoiachin. Tingnan mo lang guys, pare-pare pangalan nila, halos. And Jehoiachin, his son, succeeded him as king. So, alam niyo na kung saan kinuha yung mga pangalan, doon din sa mga tatay. Nala kayo yung Joaas. Ito naman, Jehoiakim, Jehoiachin. Yun, alam mo yun. The king of Egypt did not march out from his own country again, because the king of Babylon had taken all his territory from the Wadi of Egypt to the Euphrates River. Jehoiachin, king of Judah. Jehoiachin was 18 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 3 months. Wow, bakit 3 months lang? His mother name was Nehushta, daughter of Elnathan. She was from Jerusalem, and he did evil in the eyes of the Lord, just as his father had done. At that time, the officers of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. May nakita ba kayong perfect na king, guys? Di ba halos sila lahat nagkakasala talaga? Parang wala pa ako nakikitang perfect na king dito. He did evil in the eyes of the Lord, just as his father had done. Sa verse 10 tayo. At that time, the officers of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, advanced on Jerusalem and laid siege to it. Sige, giyera na naman kayo. And Nebuchadnezzar himself came up to the city while his officers were besieging it. Jehoiachin, king of Judah, his mother, his attendants, his nobles, and his officials all surrendered to him. In the 8th year of the reign of the king of Babylon, he took Jehoiachin prisoner. As the Lord had declared, Nebuchadnezzar removed all the treasures from the temple of the Lord and from the royal palace, and took away all the gold articles that Solomon, king of Israel, had made for the temple of the Lord. He carried into exile all Jerusalem, all the officers and fighting men, and all the craftsmen and the artisans, a total of 10,000. Only the poorest people of the land were left. Hala. Kahit nung araw, mayroon siyang mahirap, mayaman. Hindi ba pwedeng mayaman na lang lahat? Wala nang mahirap. Kahit sa generation natin ngayon or sa generation natin ngayon, hindi na May mayaman na mayaman, may medyo mayaman, and mahirap. Di ba tatlo? Dito naman dalawa lang, the poorest and the rich. Nakalagay, only the poorest people of the land were left. So, swerte pa pala pag mahirap ka. Kasi hindi ka may exile. Sa verse 15, Nebuchadnezzar took Jehoiachin captive to Babylon. He also took from Jerusalem to Babylon the king's mother, his wives, his officials, and the leading men of the land. The king of Babylon also deported to Babylon the entire force of 7,000 fighting men, strong and fit for war, and 1,000 craftsmen and artisans. He made Mattaniah, Jehoiachin's uncle, king in his place, and changed his name Zedekiah. O tingnan niyo guys, meron na namang pinalitang pangalan. Si Mattaniah ginawang Zedekiah. Uncle siya ni Jehoiachin. So sabi na sa inyo, magkakamag-anak lang yung mga yan. Pero syempre, hindi natin intindihin. Ang hirap-hirap kaya balikan yung pinaka-family tree nila. Sa sobrang dami. Zedekiah, king of Judah. Basta tandaan nyo, yung Mattaniah at Zedekiah pareho. Iisang tao yan. Pinalitan lang ng pangalan. Ang hilig nila magpalit ng pangalan, no? Zedekiah, king of Judah. Sa verse 18, guys. Zedekiah was 21 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 11 years. His mother's name was Hamutal, daughter of Jeremiah. She was from Libnah. He did evil in the eyes of the Lord, just as Jehoiakim had done. It was because of the Lord's anger that all this happened to Jerusalem and Judah, and in the end he thrust them from his presence. The fall of Jerusalem. Now Zedekiah rebelled against the king of Babylon. So in the 9th year of Zedekiah's reign, on the 10th day of the 10th month. So kung sa panahon natin yan is October 10. Is it? Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, marched against Jerusalem with his whole army. He encamped outside the city and built siege works all around it. The city was kept under siege until the 11th year of King Zedekiah. By the 9th day of the 4th month, the famine in the city had become so severe. Pero mo no, may famine pa, may kira pa, saan ka pa? Parang napakahirap mamuhay nung pagkaganito. The famine in the city had become so severe that there was no food for the people to eat. Then the city wall was broken through, and the whole army fled night through the gate between the two walls near the king's garden, though the Babylonians were surrounding the city. They fled toward the Arabah, but the Babylonian army pursued the king and overtook him in the plains of Jericho. All his soldiers were separated. Bulol na tayo. Pwede ba uminom muna tayo ng tubig? Wait lang. So verse 5 guys, ulitin niyo. But the Babylonian army pursued the king and overtook him in the plains of Jericho. All his soldiers were separated from him and scattered, and he was captured. He was taken to the king of Babylon at Riblah, where sentence was pronounced on him. They called the sons of Zedekiah before his eyes. So, si Mattaniah to yung Zedekiah. Where sentence was pronounced on him, they called the sons of Zedekiah before his eyes. Then they put out his eyes, bound him, with bronze shackles and took him to Babylon. On the 7th day of the 5th month, on the 7th day, sa verse 8 guys, on the 7th day of the 5th month, in the 19th year of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, Nebuzaradan, commander of the imperial guard, and official of the king of Babylon, came to Jerusalem. He set fire to the temple of the Lord, the royal palace, and all the houses of Jerusalem. Tingnan mo lang guys. Susunugin mo yung mga temple tsaka yung palasyo. Grabe naman, ay. Napaka-brutal. Every important building, he burned down. Oh, yan. Hindi lang yun. Marami pa pala. Mga important building daw. He burned down the whole Babylonian army under the commander of the imperial guard, broke down the walls around Jerusalem. Nebuzaradan, the commander of the guard, carried into exile the people who remained in the city, along with the rest of the populace, and those who had gone over to the king of Babylon. But the commander left behind some of the poorest people of the land to work the vineyards and fields. Tingnan mo lang guys, forest na naman ang iniwan nila. Kaya kung mahirap ka nung araw, maswerte ka pa. Diba? Kaya pala yung Bible, talagang siya sa mga mahirap, no? Diba sabi nga, yung maswerte daw ang mayaman na makapasok sa butas ng karayom ba yun? Basta yun. So, pag mayaman ka nung araw, hindi ka hindi ka compare sa foresta. Kasi laging maswerte yung foresto. Sila lagi hindi sila na-i-exile. Kung ba saan iniiwan sila. The Babylonians broke up the bronze pillars, the movable stands, and the bronze sea. May bronze sea ba? That were at the temple of the Lord. And they carried the bronze to Babylon. They also took away the pot shovels, with trimmers, dishes, and all the bronze articles. So, yung mga gamit to siguro sa temple. And all the bronze articles used in the temple service. Alam mo guys, kaya nga lagi kong sinasabi, napaka-detalyado ng pagkakasulat nila, no? So, hindi ko alam kung, lagi ko sinasabi, kung may diary ba itong mga to. Bakit alam na alam nila kung ano yung mga gamit, kung mga ganun. Yung mga writer ba nito ba, alam na alam nila kung ano yung, kung pati yung mga sukat-sukat, alam mo yun. Hindi ko alam kung buhay sila this time, buhay sila nung mangyari itong mga to, yung mga sumusulat nito, or saan galing yung yung mga nakasulat, kasi bakit detalyado lahat. Hindi ko alam kung may diary ito si King Zedekiah, or lahat ng karakter dito na pinagsama-sama tapos nilagay sa Bible. Hindi ko lang alam. Kasi lahat ng pinasa natin, detalyado talaga eh. Para bang sa pelikula na parang may sagutan, gano'n. Ito talaga, pag sinusulat. Sorry. Pati Bible nag-edit eh, sa reaction natin. Reaction lang po yun. Magtatanong lang. Nagtatanong lang. Diba? Wow. Dito na tayo sa verse 13. The Babylonians broke up the bronze pillars, the movable stands, and the bronze sea that were at the temple of the Lord, and they carried the bronze to Babylon. They also took away the potsherds, wick trimmers, dishes, and all the bronze articles used in the temple service. The commander of the imperial guard took away the censers, and the sprinkling bowls, all that were made of pure gold or silver. The bronze from the two pillars, the sea, and the movable stands which Solomon had made for the temple of the Lord was more than could be weighed. Its pillar was 27 feet high. The bronze capital on top of one pillar was 4.5 feet high and was decorated with a network and pomegranates of bronze all around. The other pillar with its network was similar. The commander of the guard took a prisoner Seraiah, the chief priest Sebaniah, the priest next in rank, and the 3 doorkeepers. Of those still in the city, he took the officer in charge of the fighting men and 5 royal advisers. He also took the secretary, who was chief officer in charge of conscripting the people of the land, and 60 of his men who were found in the city. Nebuzaradan the commander took them all and brought them to the king of Babylon at Riblah. There at Riblah in the land of Hamath, the king had them executed. So Judah went into captivity away from her land. Pero naalala ko tong Babylon, pinagtutulungan din to na Kaya nga, nung humahanga ako sa Babylon, kasi nga, lahat ng mga to, na-exile sa kanila. Diba? Pero, may nabasa ako na bumagsak din yung Babylon kasi pinagtutulungan ng mga great nations. Yun. Nabasa ko lang din yun. Advance kasi yung inano natin dati. Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, appointed Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, to be over the people he had left behind in Judah. When all the army officers and their men heard that the king of Babylon had appointed Gedaliah as governor, they came to Gedaliah at Mizpah, Ismael, son of Nathaniah, Johanan, son of Kareah, Seraiah, son of, kanina siyang anak, Seraiah, son of Tanhumeth, Tanhumeth, the Netophathite, Jazaniah, the son of the Maakathite, and their men. Tingnan mo lang guys, ang hirap bigkasin. Para sa akin ha. Hirap ako magbasa eh. Sa verse 24, Gedaliah took an oath to reassure them and their men, "Do not be afraid of the Babylonian officials," he said. "Settle down in the land and serve the king of Babylon, and it will go well with you." In the 7th month, however, Ismael, son of Nathaniah, the son of Elishama, who was of royal blood, came with 10 men and assassinated Gedaliah and also the men of Judah and the Babylonians who were with him at Mizpah. At this, all the people from the least to the greatest, together with the army officers, fled to Egypt for fear of the Babylonians. Jehoiachin released in the 37th year of the exile of Jehoiachin, king of Judah, in the year Evil-Merodach became king of Babylon. He released Jehoiachin from prison on the 27th day of the 12th month. So, December. 27th day of the 12th month. So, kung sa generation natin guys, December 27. Mabait si Abel Merodach. He spoke. So, verse 28. He spoke kindly to him and gave him a seat of honor higher than those of the other kings who were with him in Babylon. So Jehoiachin put aside his prison clothes and for the rest of his life ate regularly at the king's table. Day by day, the kings gave Jehoiachin a regular allowance as long as he lived. Oh, bukas Chronicles na tayo guys. Hanggang dito na lang pala yung 2 kings. So, mabait si Abel Merodach kay kay King Jehoiachin. Di ba prison niya si Jehoiachin, tapos pinakawalan niya, tapos magkasama na sila lagi sa pagkainan. Bye everyone, God bless.